Aung La, my man, not the result you're looking for. How are you feeling right now?
Not the result I was looking. I'm good. Got a little scratch here and there.
The first one will be from Nick Atkin of South China Morning Post.
Commiserations on the loss. I thought you put up a lot of heart. You showed a lot of improvement, man. Do you feel proud of yourself in some way that you showed such improvement on the ground and against the takedowns and the submissions?
I don't know, man. I need to work a little bit harder. Put a little more time in the ground game. Am I proud? I don't know. I don't think I'm proud of my performance.
I mean, do you feel if you fight De Ridder again, can you beat him? If you had a full camp and you faced Reinier and you focused purely on him, do you think you could change anything?
Of course. That's why we train, I mean, why else would we train if we're not going to get better,
Do you know, have you thought yet what you want to do next? Any ideas? Maybe take that big dash fight, or is that not in your head right now?
Yeah, go back down to middleweight. Stay active for this year. I'm not getting younger, so I want to keep improving and getting better. Big dash trilogy match would be exciting.
I know you didn't really get a chance to speak in the cage afterwards, but I know that you probably wanted to say something to all your fans back home in Myanmar who are watching you, and there's a lot of them watching now. I've got this on a live stream. If you just have any message you want to give them, what would you want to say?
Sorry I didn't get the win. Pretty upset about that, but people in Myanmar, thank you for the support. Thank you for the love. Keep fighting. Keep doing what's right. And for the authorities there, do what's right. We don't live a long life, and we can't take it to the grave with us. So do what's right.
Next question will go to Leon Jennings of Asian Persuasion MMA.
You have nothing to be sorry about. You showed what warrior you were for 25 minutes. You took the fight on short notice. How tough was it going from Vitali to Reinier in less than 1 week's notice, obviously when you're preparing for Vitali?
I mean, it is what it is. It wasn't tough for me to take the fight because I'm a gamer, I just like to compete, and I made adjustments, but not enough.
And obviously you are disappointed in your performance, but like Nick said, your defence on the ground was fantastic against someone who's such a good grappler. He called out, he said he wanted to go up to heavyweight next. How would you see his chances in the heavyweight division?
No, Brendan should fight for the light heavyweight belt against him. I'm going back to middle anyway. So.
Cool. And lastly, are there any positives you can take from it? Like I said, I think there's a lot of positives there, but can you see any positive right now, or do you have to go away and maybe have a little break and think about it?
I'm healthy, I didn't take much damage. Besides, a little scratch here and there. I'll be back in training, and I want to do, 2 or 3 more fights this year. If one championship will allow me to keep getting better, I know this was an exciting fight, but it takes 2 to tango. He kept wanting to grapple, so it's I need to work on that department,
Our next question will go to Jay Anderson of Cage Side Press.
Coming out here after that, I know it's not easy. First of all, I want to go to that arm triangle early in the fight that you got out of. How close was that? Because it did look pretty nasty there for a bit.
It wasn't that tight. His arm triangle wasn't super tight. His dorsal isn't super tight. None of his submissions are that tight. But he's got a good backpack. He's got a good hooks. His back take is super tight, especially when he body triangles. It's hard to move. But as far as he has a weird build, his when he goes for that single leg, his head is so tight. But the submissions themselves weren't super tight.
And in comparison to the first fight, did you find anything different about him tonight at the higher weight?
No, his style is very similar. I was surprised how tight he was, in every position. He didn't give much space at all. Technically very sound on the grappling side. And his punches went hard. Even at a heavier weight. So he upkicked me real hard. And in the first round, he upkicked me pretty hard. He hit me with some good elbows. But he when he had that Darce choke, he needed me too. But I don't feel like he had that much power.
And last one from me. I mean, you spoke about staying active this year, going back to middleweight. After a fight like this, do you take a little bit of time off first, or are you going to be right back in the gym?
I don't need to. All these, like all this damage is like superficial. Like my hands feel good. Everything feels good. So I don't think I need to take much time off.
Next question will go to Ivan Stewart of Dugout Philippines. Ivan, please go ahead.
How has the pandemic affected your build-up for this match? Like your training, how was it affected?
I don't think it affected me that much. You know, I stayed in the gym. I mean, the fight week is always off, you know, but it's the same for my opponent too. So I wouldn't blame the pandemic on anything. I don't think it negatively affected me. Although I would like to be a little bit more active. Just a lot of uncontrollables on fight week, and a lot of uncontrollables, you know, during the travel period. But as far as the training goes at the gym, I don't think it affected me that much.
All right. After the fight, Reinier suddenly called out the heavyweight division, so he's now challenging for the heavyweight title. Being someone who previously fought Brandon Vera, do you think he has what it takes to beat Brandon or possibly Arjan, depending on the result of their fight in May?
I think stylistically, Brendan is a bad matchup for him. Brendan's got, you know, great takedown defense. He's I mean, I train with Brendan now. If you remember, you know, he did the Greco wrestling almost at Olympic level, you know, Olympic trials level. So, and his build is just as tall as him. So stylistically, I don't think it's a good matchup for Reinier. And Reinier is biting more than he can chew. Reinier is obviously a bad matchup for me, you know, but we'll get it back.
Next question will go to Conan Altatis of Conan Daily.
Hey, Aung La, if given the chance, which division would you like to have your rematch with Reinier first? Middleweight or light heavyweight?
No, I'm done with light heavyweight. I'm going down to middleweight after this. More middleweight now.
It looks like you had a little talk with him inside the cage after the match. I'm just curious what you said to each other.
I said, thank you for making me a better fighter.
Is it correct to say that you don't like Reinier?
No, I don't. He doesn't bother me. You know, I mean, as a competitor, you always need somebody to push you, you know, to be a better competitor. Outside of that, you know, he does talk a lot, but it is what it is. He's just trying to sell fights, and he's trying to make a name for himself. So I don't dislike him.
We got one last question here from Dylan Bowker of My MMA News.
Theme I've heard throughout the scrum here is that middleweight seems to be like the main priority for your last few bouts this calendar year here. How long has just maintaining like a path in one division kind of been on your mind? Like how long have you been mulling over this?
Since I would say since 2019, you know, when I fought Brandon, it's just hard, man. The training camp was just a hard training camp. And at middleweight, it's a easier, like it suits my body a lot better. I didn't have to eat as much, you know, I didn't have to force feed myself to make that light heavyweight weight class. Naturally, I'm not that, my frame isn't, you know, a light heavyweight frame. Honestly, I could fight I'm down to compete against anybody, but to be the best version of myself, I think middleweight should be the home.
Yeah, absolutely. And you were talking about how the submissions weren't necessarily super tight. I'm curious, was it more of like a, I guess, you know, position over submission, functional strength kind of a thing he brought to the table?
Yeah. His length is always an issue. You know, I've always had issues with longer guys that want to grapple more than strike, because with long guys that wants to strike, I close the distance, you know. In striking range against a long guy, you have to close the distance. But this is a long guy that wants to grapple. So it's stylistically, it's a harder matchup for me.